Have you ever stopped to think about whether the words you say could actually have a physical effect on your health? Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating idea from our source material, this idea of a spiritual link between our words and the health of our thyroid gland. You know that feeling, right? That sinking pit in your stomach, or that lump that forms in your throat when someone says something really harsh. What if that's not just an emotion? What if it's a sign that something deeper, something actually physical, is happening inside your body?
So how in the world does this connection supposedly work? Well, the source material kicks things off with a core concept it calls the mystical connection. Let's get into it.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The theory basically says that your thyroid and your windpipe, they're not just biological parts. They're not just hardware. They're actually spiritually tied to the energy of the very words that come out of your mouth.
So if you look at it from this perspective, your throat isn't just a tube for air and sound. It's more like an energetic crossroads. It's the exact point where the power of what you say literally meets your physical well-being.
Right, so if the throat is this energetic center, what happens when it gets hit with a blast of negativity? The source material actually lays out a very specific chain reaction for how hurtful words can cause real internal harm. Here's how it's laid out. It all starts with something from the outside, right? Hurtful words. But according to this theory, the impact doesn't just stop at your ears. Nope, it triggers this deep internal suffering that kicks off a whole physical chain reaction. And this is the absolute key step. The blood retreats. Just think about that image for a second. The source is suggesting that our very life force recoils, pulling inward, away from the surface, as a direct response to the pain of those words. So where does all that retreating energy go? Or maybe a better question is, what kind of damage does it cause on its way? Well, the source points directly to the physical fallout in our throat and, specifically, our thyroid. According to this theory, that retreat of the blood has a real, tangible impact. It supposedly affects the tissues of the neck, which of course includes the thyroid gland, and it might even alter the quality of the blood itself. In a way, the emotional wound literally becomes a physical one. But you know, this isn't just a story about how words can break us down. The source offers a really powerful solution, a practical action it calls the rectification of speech. And this is the turning point, right here. The whole idea is if negative words can do damage, then the antidote has to be consciously, purposefully using positive language. And it's not just about being polite. It's framed as a direct tool for real physical and energetic healing. So what does that actually look like in real life? Well, it's way more than just being optimistic. It's about consciously choosing words that build up instead of tear down. And that goes for how you talk to others, and maybe even more importantly, how you talk to yourself. Think of it as choosing words that invite your own life force to flow outward instead of forcing it to retreat. So what's the ultimate goal of all this? According to the source, it's about actively drawing in a positive, healing force into your body. The theory goes that by changing our speech, we literally become a magnet for positive energy. We're not just stopping the damage, we're actively starting to pull in a healing force that nourishes key areas like our endocrine system, with the thyroid sitting right at the heart of it all. And this slide really brings the whole thing full circle. Remember that negative process? It was our life force, our blood, retreating inward from pain. So the positive solution is to reverse that flow. Conscious, positive speech acts like the force that coaxes that energy back out, nourishing the body instead of depleting. So the source material leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It's asking us to look beyond just biology and to consider that maybe, just maybe, the words we choose every single day aren't just sounds. They might just be the most powerful medicine we have.